Round 3.
Woo!
Hey,
Hey.
now my prejudice and hate's going to come out.
It's been a while, so it's just, it worked. It went to the right thing. All right. A movie came out many, many months ago. We were supposed to do it. We saw it in theater. We all saw it in theater.
Yep, sure did.
We were supposed to do it then, and we didn't. But I still think it's relevant because it has been recently released on DVD and streaming on Max.
Now, streaming on Max was available for digital, I think, 4 weeks after it came out, was available on digital?
I have no clue. I feel like I got this like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I don't...
Well, what I've noticed is those are now still taking the same amount of time for release, but digital's, damn, it's almost instant nowadays.
Yeah. So I still think it's a relevant topic because it just came out recently and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
First thing I will say.
Shoot.
First thing I'm going to go ahead and say, because I feel like it has something to do with what we've kind of just been talking about. And I'm not saying this applies to you, but I saw the same thing with this movie that I saw with Eternals, Captain Marvel. I can keep going on and on. Shang-Chi is the only movie that caught a break because American culture is ingrained with martial arts and kung fu. They've been watching kung fu movies since the 70s. So when you see an all Asian cast doing kung fu, it's not foreign to them, even though it is very foreign, right? It's not foreign to them to see a group a full cast of Asian people doing martial arts and fighting each other. So that one got a pass.
Okay.
And it slid through. Eternals, the bashing of main characters being female, gay, black main characters, it happened. I saw it. Okay. Same thing is happening here with this movie because of the actor.
I still have no idea what y'all are talking about.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I mean, whatever.
And so that's why I'm giving this disclaimer. I went to this movie not knowing anything that happened with him.
Still don't know.
Outside of movies, right?
Yeah.
His personal life.
I haven't read
whatever was that. He was in Hawaii or something. I have no clue.
Do you want to know?
We can talk about it, but let me get the disclaimers out. I am just so we know, just so we are clear here. I am 100% for cancel culture or whatever the hell you want to call it. If you out there doing some bullshit, I do not want to support you. You know what we don't watch in this house? Seinfeld. Racism.
I didn't watch it because it wasn't funny.
Well, I don't know if it's funny because it was racist and I don't watch it. You know what I don't watch anymore, but I grew up watching? Roseanne. You can kick rocks, right? I'm all for it. So whatever he did, more than likely, I don't support, but I don't know. I can't keep up on everything. Now I say that to say, you will never hear me say something is bad just because the person did something bad. And I feel like that's what happened with The Flash. I'm not talking about your opinion. I'm saying, generally speaking, people automatically wrote this off as bad
100%.
because of the person in the movie. But you will never hear me say that. You will never hear me say a R. Kelly song is bad just because R. Kelly is bad. I will tell you I won't listen to it anymore. But I'm not going to say, oh, that song was garbage. Like, it's not garbage.
He's insanely talented.
Do you think a person should be forgiven if they have that true motive in their heart to actually go through the steps of redeeming themselves?
I'm gonna say forgiven. That's a weird kind of word.
I'm not saying forgotten. No, but would you forgive someone for their transgressions?
I will change it just a little bit. If I go to prison for something, maybe not nearly as bad as what R. Kelly is alleged of doing, right? When I come back, I won't have my job. I will never be able to go back and work in that place or any place like that. So when you say forgiven, I'm looking at that as when you get out of jail or whatever, you can go back and you can get millions of dollars on tour. You can keep working and you can keep doing all that.
That's not what I'm talking about. When I go to the term of forgiven, right? And I'm not saying that you have to partake anymore in the sales or distribution or anything of that person, right? Because you can sit there and say, I'm gonna always remember what they did, but I forgive you as a person. I'm not looking to do any more. I'm not going to go out of my way to listen or to participate in anything else you're doing, but I forgive you for what you've done. It's just, I'm not going to go that way. that person who has done their time or has, again, gone through the steps of, for lack of a better word, has repented of what they did, and they know what they did was wrong, and they are trying to actively make an effort to correct that. Is that something that you recognize?
I can support you in your quest to become better. So, for example, a lot of times, though, what those people will do would then turn their attention to charity work and putting their efforts into the cause.
Right.
I can support you in that, but I'm not gonna watch your shows.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay.
And now forgiving, like, that's a hard thing. There's nothing for me to forgive R. Kelly for, because I don't know R. Kelly. Like, forgiveness for me comes from somebody that you know personally. That's why I said it was a little bit of a weird word for me. Like, if I don't know you,
there's nothing to forgive.
Right. Yeah.
It may offend you.
Yeah. It offends me what you did, and I'm not going to continue to line your pocket so you can keep doing it.
So
you see what I'm saying?
So rather than get into what was done by the individual, let's talk strictly movie.
So yeah. So like I said, I just wanted to put that. I just wanted to put that out there.
But you're right. You're right.
Like, if I knew back then what he had done, more than likely I would not have watched the movie.
So let me not say what was done. Right. We'll save that for a different time. From strictly the movie, I will sit there and say that the main actor, Ezra Miller, who did what he did outside of this, the acting that he did was superb. It was. I won't take that away.
All of the range.
Yeah.
In this movie.
The worst actor in this movie by far, Ron Livingston, who played his dad.
I don't look what Thanos say.
Office Space.
What did Thanos say? I don't even know
who you are.
I don't even know who you are. I don't know who you're talking about.
But he's actually a good actor. Just not in this movie.
We saw him. He was on the movie where they were searching for that. I can't remember what that weird show was called.
Finding Forrester?
No, Finding
Nemo?
Search Party. Party. He was the guy at the very end of the first season of Search Party.
The one that died? Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to watch that, I guess.
No.
Thanks.
It's not that good.
Okay, thanks.
Anyway, Office Space, but go ahead.
Yeah. So
never seen it.
So he was the only one that I felt was completely out of place. I don't know how you want to start this. I can tell you what my biggest issue was with the movie.
Well, let's just start here. Did you like the movie?
I gave it about a 6 out of 10.
So to me, that's a no. But again, we have different rating scales. We talked about this.
This is what I would say.
I would say a 6 is a no.
I watched it. It's not a high rewatchable movie for me at all. I'm not going to let it play in the background if I'm doing something else.
I think I would, and this is rare for me. I think I would rewatch this one because of all of the stuff, all of the cameos, what about you? Did you like the movie?
I liked it, but I don't like Ezra Miller. I didn't like his acting. Now, maybe, but let me say this. Maybe it's not a matter of he's not a good actor. Maybe it's, I just don't like that character. He's annoying to me.
But he's
the stoner character or?
Both. I mean, honestly. But they were supposed to be annoying.
Okay,
and so if he made you feel annoyed, then he did it. To me, that means he did a good job acting.
But the problem is, like, I don't want any more of you. And I just
too much.
He just is annoying to me.
See, and what's funny is I'm the opposite. When I saw him in Justice League, right, I wanted more of him.
Okay, hold on.
Whoa.
I did too. I liked him in Justice League.
I agree with that.
But there was too much of him in this movie to me. It started off good. Like, I thought he was being funny in the very beginning, in that we tried to get his coffee or food or that sandwich. And the guy was.
So spoiler alert, right?
What?
No, I'm just saying in general. Spoiler alert for this whole thing.
Yeah. In the beginning, I thought he was funny, but yes, when there became two of him, I was just like, I can't take him anymore.
So I think I agree with what you said. I just separate the two. Like, I'm not gonna say he did a bad acting job because I don't like the character.
Right.
So no, I agree. I don't like the character. He's annoying, kind of gets on my nerves. Blah blah blah. I feel like it was supposed to be that way. I feel like it was written that way, and but I feel like he pulled it off.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me because I just got tired of it, and I was like, okay. But generally speaking, I did like the movie. I don't have a lot of history with Flash. So there's a lot of stuff I don't really know, so I'm going.
He runs fast.
Right. So me going in.
Time travels.
But not as fast as Superman?
Which I have another beef with, but go ahead.
Okay.
So to me, this was like a B, 80 or 8.0 or whatever you want to call it.
Is that your official score?
Yeah.
Oh.
8.14 actually.
Wow.
Now.
Wait, well, hold on.
Let me clarify though.
What score did I tell you on your show yesterday?
I think you said an 8.
Oh, really? I didn't see. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I was with a
Yeah,
friend.
thanks.
No, I was with a friend, but
Oh, so was I. We were on the podcast.
Look, the real friends.
But let me clarify. But let me clarify my score, and y'all probably have a lot more to say than I do. But the reason the score is somewhat high for me is because when I think about, to me, the CGI and the cinematography and the writing, like I thought it was pretty good. So the score ends up being higher, but I can still say at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, the movie in general, despite the score being high, it was okay. I would watch it again one more time.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
But that's it. I mean, but I also am like a Michael Keaton stan. Okay, that's my Batman.
Fair enough.
1989. Right. I was like, So there's a couple things going on there. But anyway, you guys probably have a lot more to say than I do.
And I think for Michael Keaton and seeing those cameos, that's what led me to a 6.
Yeah.
Right. But that shouldn't be the drive of the movie. Me wanting to watch a movie shouldn't be about all the ancillary characters.
No.
It should be about the main character.
I disagree. And this is why I would say I disagree, because that's how they promoted the movie to you.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But again,
all the commercials. It seemed from the commercials you would have thought it was a Batman movie.
Yeah.
So that's how they promoted it to
110%, which means
that's what they told you it was going to be.
Which means that when I get 40 minutes of The Flash, I'm already tired of watching it.
Yeah.
But it's also called The Flash. So
100%.
Yeah, but they knew they had to bring other stuff in there.
They had to, just because, unfortunately, because of the lead actors' issues, you had to do the supporting cast. And let me say, supporting cast, wonderful. Michael Keaton, Sasha Calle, being Supergirl, loved her. They need, like, they're doing a Supergirl movie. Please, please, please get her back.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care what people say. A little bit of representation. I'm cool with that. Right? So
I didn't know what she was. I knew she wasn't black.
She's Hispanic.
Yeah.
But bring her back.
I didn't know.
Bring her back. Not because she's Hispanic, but because she was actually really good in that movie. She was a good actress. Forget everything else about her. She acted well for what she was given. Michael Keaton acted superb for what he was given. Ezra Miller acted well for what he was given. All these characters, for what they were given, brought that movie over the 5.
Yeah.
For me.
And I actually liked the Ben Affleck interaction. I did.
I didn't.
I know I knew you wouldn't.
Ben Affleck in general was probably my biggest problem with the whole movie.
Really? I mean, it was so minor.
So one, where we at?
Spoiler alert.
You had this situation where it's like, hey, come here, Batman. I got this dumbass idea that I'm gonna do, and he's like, yeah, don't do that. Well, you want to go get something to eat and just finish talking about it? No, don't do that. I'll talk to you later. And just aren't you supposed to care that he might jack up everything, right? And then shouldn't you do something to stop him from doing that, or more something? No guidance, no nothing. Okay, now 2, and I think we already talked about this, but I'm bringing it up again on the show. Batman in the suit and a stupid voice. He gets in the suit. I'm COVID. Ooh, COVID. Oh, right. And so he's on the motorcycle.
Oh, that's not the part I was talking about.
He's on a. I'm just saying in general.
Okay.
He's on a motorcycle on the bridge, the big chase scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the bad guy. I'm on a motorcycle. No one can hear me talking.
But I'm still going to use my Batman voice.
And I'll get a call from the Flash. I'm talking to Flash while I'm riding my motorcycle. Flash, what do you want? Why are you still using the voice? He knows who you are.
Yeah, stay in character. You'd hate to sit there. You'd hate to get off the bike,
so stupid.
Get the bad guy and go, hey guys, where do you, oh, stop right there. Like, you don't want to just forget it. So you got to stay in character.
That was so stupid. So
my thing with him was he just wasn't in it. Let's be realistic. Ben Affleck actually was on screen, not Batman. And I'm not talking about his version of Batman.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck playing Batman and Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne was probably on there for a total of 3 minutes.
Yeah.
1 minute to talk face to face with Wonder Woman and Flash. And then another 2 minutes to do the whole car scene.
Am I wrong to say I like this suit?
No, I like the suit.
Am I wrong to say I like this suit better than Michael Keaton's suit?
No, I don't think so, because the problem I had with Michael Keaton's suit is it bunched up. It looked like they took into account Keaton's age and realized he wasn't going to get into that tight outfit anymore. And if you look at that costume versus the costume that was for Batman 89, Batman 89's was snug.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bunch up on Michael Keaton's Batman costume.
I feel like it had a little shine to it.
Had a little shine to it.
That I didn't care for.
It wasn't a black matte finish. It had a little shine. The other costume I had a big problem with, the Flash. What was wrong with the one from Justice League?
I don't even remember.
I mean, it was sensible and everything else. This costume, the Flash television show on CW has done that costume justice time and time and time again. And then they give us the one that's in the movie, and I'm just like, what is that? Like, again, it didn't look like it fit properly. And it just, compared to the one that they used in Justice League, it wasn't the same. It didn't have that same presence.
It wasn't worse than the Avengers getting an all-white suit.
No, and it wasn't worse than Captain America's suit in the first Avengers.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So what was your beef with the movie?
The script. They had a lot of material I felt that they needed to do that was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, you didn't need to have 3 Barrys running around. First and foremost, yeah. I'm really big with that. I think, to your point, you're going to get a little tired of it. I think you didn't even necessarily need to have a evil Flash or even a Reverse Flash, even though that's the comic they're driving from, is from Flashpoint, where Reverse Flash was the main villain. My problem with this is, especially with the ending, love the cameos. I actually didn't bump up against the scenes where you had Christopher Reeve, Helen Slater, Nicolas Cage, actually getting there and being able to perform. And yes, he's a little de-aged, of course, but it's still Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I didn't bump into any of that, right? Because one, if they're on there and you got a beef with them saying, I can't believe they, this created the gray by doing computer imagery. You do know they had to go to the estates of each of those people to get that permission. And they said, how much money? Yes, you have our permission.
I thought it was cool. I mean,
yeah,
it was an homage. It was an honor. I love that scene.
And I think it's just a situation where all this AI stuff, when it first was talking about as far as using their likeness, people who passed away, their likeness in movies, everybody was up in arms like, no, you just can't do that. But like you said, if
they got to go to the estates,
right? If you get the permission, like, no, you shouldn't do that if you don't have proper permission, and or if you do have the rights to it and you're being a crappy company and just taking advantage, like, that's not cool either to me. But if family said, yeah, go for it, then I don't have
zero problem with
zero problems with it.
But it became apparent, especially in the final act, where, and this was my biggest problem, the Flash killed a Kryptonian just like that at the very beginning. Ran his hand through his chest, killed him. But you're telling me they couldn't do that to all the rest of the Kryptonians during all that time and the supposed decades that the other Flash was going back and doing that? Not a single time. Do me a favor. Leave that shit out. Because you ruined that whole ending for me, because I kept wondering, why are they all dying if you could kill them just like that to begin with?
So you're saying the whole third of the movie was ruined because of one 30-second clip?
130 seconds.
So that whole last round
it was fun.
No,
it was all about Ray.
It was fun to watch.
It was all about Ray.
On.
That whole last.
Hold on. It
That's
was
not what
fun.
he's saying.
It was fun to watch.
No. But no, you're talking about the logic that comes from what was shown.
Right.
In that. He's thinking
that
about.
That is right. There's that plot hole that they created of why didn't they go back to do that again?
So okay. So,
but the action scene. Let's get something straight. The action scene of them going around doing their thing. To what was it? The White Stripes, I think that was playing in the background. I love that. That was pretty cool.
So they take the one little 30-second scene out that you don't like.
No, it's not a scene. That's a plot hole. There is a difference.
It's one scene. Mm-hmm. It's one 30-second clip. They take it out.
Doesn't make the movie better.
Huh?
Doesn't make the movie better for me.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, because then again too, we're talking about the movie set up the premise that if you change one thing, that the butterfly effect for it could just be tremendous. Yet everyone who was looking for that can of tomatoes that he decided to move from the bottom shelf to the top shelf just affected all their lives too. Because again, it's the butterfly effect. So he still didn't learn a lesson.
Well, who cares about learning? It's not an episode of the Cosbys.
Well, it's not an episode about the Cosbys, but the point is,
and Batman didn't care if he learned a lesson.
but they did.
He wasn't there to help.
Well, they did though, and
Ben
that was
Affleck.
Affleck did care because the first thing he told him is, "Don't do that." Yes, you could save everyone, but you could also make everything worse. He knew from the get-go, don't do this because it is going to have repercussions.
But I don't think the Flash learning a lesson was the point of the movie. I just don't think that's why
don't put it in the script.
I don't think that's why they made the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree, but then don't put it in the script though.
Well, I mean, that one scene though where you see like the evil Barry, and he realizes after he keeps trying and trying and trying and trying, he realizes I cannot save. I cannot change things. Like as far as like
is this situation. But that doesn't mean I can't change this situation.
Well, but I think he did learn a lesson. I mean, I
that
don't know.
one did. So to your point, that Barry learned a lesson.
I don't think he learned. I don't think he learned a lesson. I think he finally came to grips with acceptance of this is not
how it has to be,
and this is just how it has to be. Yeah. So I don't think he learned a lesson. It's like I accept this as it is. I can't change this. Not I should never try to do this ever again in life. That's not what he learned.
Well, no, obviously not, because if you go to the scene, the end credit scene with Momoa, right? The first thing he's telling him as he's coming out, he goes, "You don't understand." He goes, "Every time I go back," meaning that he's going back again and again.
Yeah.
He's been trying again. Every time I go back, whoever Bruce Wayne is or whoever Batman is, it is always Bruce Wayne, but it's a different person every time. He specifically tells him that, which means he's going back and screwing up time and time and time again because he can't fix it.
Yep.
He can't get it back to where his father's innocent and he's come back to the natural order of things. So he's still... Then take those scenes out. If you're not wanting to say that was a lesson that he was supposed to learn, because they talked about that a lot of times, like 3 or 4 times, whether it was Ben Affleck, whether it was Michael Keaton, whether it was himself, they kept bringing it up. I didn't bring it up that needs to be the lesson he learns is not to go back in time. They keep bringing it up.
I don't think anybody said you need to learn this lesson.
Well, not to jack with time. That's kind of the underlying lesson that they had at a script level, which goes back to why didn't care for the script.
I don't think it's you shouldn't jack with time. It's if you jack with time, this is what happens, and that is the movie they made. If you jack with time, this is what happens.
Accept that. Not
you should never jack with time. It's just if you do, this is the consequences.
Yeah. Well, but it's kind of implied it's not a good idea.
Yeah, it might not be a good idea.
I don't think it's implied. I think it's outright said. Yeah. No matter which Batman you're talking to, it's said.
Same thing with Back to the Future. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you cannot, if you start changing, it's going to change everything. Like, not in a good way.
Don't ruin Back to the Future for me.
So this is what I would say about the movie. It was a good movie.
Enough that you bought it. That impresses me. Is that your first DC movie that you bought?
No.
Okay.
No. But what I will say is, I feel like it's the first one in a while, a long while. And what I will say is, it is to me, it is the best DC movie since Wonder Woman.
I wanted to feel about the Flash exactly how I felt walking out of Blue Beetle. I'll say that right now. So when you watch that, I can't wait to do a review with you.
So best DC movie since Wonder Woman. And I'm trying to remember specifics. There were some things I didn't like about Wonder Woman. I feel like I might even like this better than Wonder Woman.
Third act.
This might be the best DC movie since Man of Steel, and it just so happens to be same storyline from Man of Steel.
Exact.
Yeah, I would say I did like their storyline. I did like that, and the ending when he talks to his mom. Oh my God, that was
It, as a parent, hard to watch. I think as anyone with a heart, hard to watch.
Yeah.
CW did it better. Sorry.
Yeah, I haven't.
But
seen
that doesn't mean this was bad.
No, I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying the CW did it better on that particular scene.
I don't feel like in the history of CW they've done anything better in general. But that's just a personal beef with them. But anyway,
I would argue that the Flash, the first 3 seasons, anything after that's a crapshoot, and certainly anything from the last 2 or 3 seasons is unwatchable. But the first 3 seasons, I think that was a bigger issue for some of the audience too, who are the comic book fans, who are the hardcore, I want to watch DC or whatever. I think that is part of the issue with this movie, is that the CW Flash did it better. And I would even argue that Grant Gustin is probably a better actor than Ezra Miller. Now, that's all open for interpretation. It's all opinion driven. I get that.
One, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know who you're talking about, or if they can act or if they can't act. But what I will say is, again, I'm not saying that you're saying it, but I feel like it's being implied. But just because something else is better, that doesn't mean that it's bad.
And like I said, it does. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it does. That doesn't.
But I think
just like to me, Infinity War was better than Endgame. That doesn't mean Endgame was bad. Endgame had a lot of problems the first hour, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean Endgame was bad, and I would just say,
you should like that one better.
Just like it better. But I'm not.
But I'm not basing my feelings off the fact that I think the CW is better. I'm basing it off of what I saw. And again, I shouldn't. My favorite parts of this movie should not be coming from the ancillary characters. The main character should be the one driving that factor, and it's not here. And that's how I feel. I just feel like he's not driving it. Everyone else is.
So I feel the same way. I mean, I like the story. I like exactly what they wrote, like how all of this unfolds.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. Yeah, Ezra Miller gets on my nerves, but I liked everything else though. Like I don't have the same complaints because I don't have the same background and knowledge of the Flash, but I do like how they wrote this story.
Yeah. This is what I'll say. This is how I'll break it down. I'm just going to try to use some logic.
Don't do that. We don't do that here.
Because you keep talking about your feelings.
He didn't say feelings.
He said feelings like 3 or 4 times. Okay. And every time he said it, he looked at me.
Okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead with your logic.
So the logic here, Batman, your Batman.
My Batman.
Worth the price of admission just to see all the scenes that he is in.
In the Batcave. Oh my gosh.
The last fight scene that kept happening over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Worth the price of admission just to see that.
And I love Michael Shannon or whatever his name is.
The scene where he saves everybody in the hospital, even though that's the first glimpse that I saw of some bad CGI.
Really bad CGI?
Yeah. So and it's weird. And I'll get back to my logic, but it's weird. I wouldn't say overall the movie had bad CGI, but in the movie there was bad CGI. Yeah. It was weird. So it just wasn't consistent across the whole movie as far as good CGI or bad. But there were some bad CGI scenes in that hospital scene. But that hospital scene alone was worth.
I love that scene.
Worth the price of admission.
I thought it was
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Every scene she was in,
she stole.
Worth the price of admission. So it's just like I don't have any major glaring complaints with this movie.
Yeah.
I like this movie. It was a good movie. Like I said, one of the better DC movies.
So you're saying you'd recommend?
Hell yeah. I would recommend people watch this.
Yeah.
Because it was fun. It was serious. It was all of the things that your DC people keep telling me that all DC is. And I'm like, no, these other DC movies didn't quite pull it off for me. This one did, as far as like the whole range of there was funny moments, serious moments, there were sad moments, it had all of the range of everything in it, and it did it, and it pulled it off. The other DC movies try it, they fall short in a lot of those areas.
Now let me say this. I'm play a little devil's advocate with myself and with you as well. Probably right, Ann. Probably got a little bit of too much knowledge on the story they were taken from, knowing that it could have been better. Even the animated version of the story I felt was better. I didn't bump up against Ezra Miller and whatever, salacious issues that he may have had, right? Like I'm not bumping up against that. But from a fan of the character, I think that's where I felt let down. I think your core characters, your 7 core characters from DC, I feel you have to always have them be better than what they're representing. To your point about Superman being able to see the Flash, I hate that fact. You have someone who is all powerful but can't go back in time, unless you count the 1978 Christopher Reeve movie. But then you have someone that's so fast he can travel through time, and yet you're telling me that Superman's fast enough to catch him? No, that should never be the case. You should never have Superman have the power to beat everybody. It should be strong enough that he's a threat to everyone. He can cause people's problems. But when it comes to the speed of the Flash, he should always be faster than Superman.
So 2 things, and I'm not you're the comic book expert here, right? But 2 things. One, I forgot one. the cameo, the big cameo, the long cameo scene, worth the price of admission just for that long scene. Okay, but two, I feel like even though his legs are moving, I feel like for me, not having a knowledge of Flash like you do, I feel like there becomes a point where he's not running anymore. For when I've always heard Superman can run faster than the Flash. Once he gets to that certain point, he kind of turns into energy, and then you're just kind of moving through space-time. I don't feel like that's running anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Maybe.
So I feel like that might be, and again, that's just me on the outside looking in. I have no clue. But in a foot race, I feel like that's where I always heard Superman can run faster than the Flash.
I will say this, and the longer I get from Smallville, the television show, the more I start to be less of a fan. But I will say the one thing that I loved about it is that their interpretation of the Flash was they were both fast, and he was just a little bit faster than Superman. Right up until the point where he actually showed why he was the Flash. And there in a foot race, he goes, I'll tell you what, if you can beat me to here, he goes, I'll come chill out with you for a little bit longer so we can talk. And he gets just to about to catch him, and the Flash, still running, turns around, starts running backwards, and just does this little nod to him, this little salute, and then actually takes off, actually starts running, and just leaves him in the dust. That, to me, has always been a good interpretation of the Flash, because his whole thing is about speed. It's about the Speed Force. Even here, it talked about the fact that where you're seeing all the cameos, that's happening in the Speed Force. Superman should not be able to catch up to him. Maybe that's the evolution of the character that I missed, right? That they're saying that he's now, because he's had more time as the Flash, he's not going to be on par with Superman when it comes to his speed. It's just that if Superman happens to thump him, that's it, right?
Well, I guess what's weird to me about the whole Superman thing is, like, I always did see Superman, and not just because of Death Battle, I always did see Superman more as like a Goku.
Yeah.
Like when the situation arises, he will find a way to overcome, right? I never really saw the Flash like that. But in this movie, it's like, no, that is more Flash from his powers evolving. Like, Flash is more like a god. Superman has got like powers, but he's just more like a real strong alien. Yeah. As opposed to Flash, it's like, no, it's like you've become like a god. And I don't know DC as far as I know Marvel Omega level and things like that. I don't know if they have those type of levels in DC, but I'm just saying your powers and the way he can manipulate and evolve his powers is more godlike. And so it's just like, it's like the Flash is in this movie. The Flash is more like Goku than Superman would have ever been. Yeah, right.
It's not a bad analogy. It's not a bad comparison or thought. I don't think DC, having gone back and just remembering what I do, I don't think that's ever been the case. I think it's always been Superman's the strongest out of everyone. But when it comes to certain attributes, he's not necessarily.
Yeah, I just feel like if push came to shove, and we're talking about a more experienced Barry, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he could find a way to kill Superman.
Which he did. He found a way to kill the Kryptonians, and they didn't use it. They used it once.
Well, Superman.
Once.
Because the Kryptonian that you're talking about was just some little soldier on the side.
Yeah, but so what?
But that's a little different than killing Zod and Superman.
Catch up behind Zod.
Just saying. That's different than killing Zod and Superman. I'm just saying. He killed the Putty Patrol in Power Rangers. He beat up on the gray men, but then when the real guy came, it's like, now I got to do something different.
Yeah, but I will say this: you've taken me from a wobbly 6 to a solid 6. I'll give it a solid 6. Still
a 6. Still a failing grade.
Still a failing grade.
Still a failing grade in my book.
Well, and I think unfortunately, what you're going to have to bear because you have more knowledge is you're going to spot things that like I wouldn't. And same thing with people who know really, they're real big on like sound. Like I can sit anywhere in the theater, I don't care. But like he cannot because he notices things.
Got to be in the middle center.
So if you don't really, if you're just kind of taking it for what it is, you're not going to spot those things.
Well, and to be fair, and to be completely fair, I probably, if I were to officially score this, and not just because I know that if I officially scored, it would be higher, but I think it would be higher just off default because I also, based off the trailers, I left the movie feeling slightly disappointed. I wanted a little more from the cameos. I
Oh.
wanted a little more from the cameos, more meaningful, something happening, right? And
then it's
and-
completely not a Flash movie.
well, this wasn't a Flash movie, just like
No, that's true, too.
just like Civil War wasn't a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Hell, it was more of an Iron Man movie. If you really,
That one does rub me the wrong way on that.
but the expectation from what I saw with all the cameos and all the everything it could have been, as far as like you're opening up, right? Universes here, right?
Should have been more like a Justice League 1.5.
Right. So even with that being said, I did go in with a little bit of more expectation. So I feel like if I just objectively sat down and just scored it, it would definitely be higher than an 8. Honestly.
How cool would it have been though, instead of just seeing those worlds colliding, if because he was time traveling in the spaghetti that Michael Keaton talks about in his Batman, if instead of just seeing it, he went through them and spent time in each one, which is originally what I thought he was gonna do. Like he wasn't just gonna go through it; he was gonna spend a little time with those characters, even a minute a piece with the characters they provided. You know, like that would have been fantastic because he's actually in that universe as he's trying to fix what he caused.
So I'm gonna say one more thing, and then we can start to try to wrap it up. In the beginning of the movie, there was a cameo, and somebody already said it earlier. But when that cameo happened, I was like, oh, Ray is going to love this movie. This is going to be Ray's favorite movie. What was the cameo?
At the beginning of the movie?
Near the beginning of the movie.
Are you talking about Wonder Woman?
Talking about Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's
Not just Wonder Woman. They're not going to pull one over on me. I saw what they did. Did you see what they did in the movie?
No.
Did you see what they did?
What?
as far as Alfred, or what are you talking about?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
What'd they do?
What'd they do? Did you see what they did?
Tell us.
I'm trying to see if he knows.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
look at
not
his
getting
face.
it.
Oh, you just didn't see the what's the word? The upskirt showing
Shot.
of her
Oh, the ass shot?
ass.
Oh,
Like
I don't even remember.
yeah, I
I
mean
don't.
it was yeah, I was like, no, this is gonna
I
be
know.
Ray's favorite movie.
No, because I was still trying to get over the whole CGI from the hospital scene.
Oh, well yeah.
So I wasn't really.
No, it was just a whole scene where it's just like here are cheeks for you. And I was like, really? Like this is what we're doing? They gonna bring back Michael Keaton, you gonna show cheeks, like they really trying to sell this movie.
So I did
So-
like.
So now, because you saw the movie twice,
I still didn't catch it either time.
now he's gonna see it a third time.
I'm gonna have to see that opening scene a third time. I'm
There you
not
go.
sitting through the movie again.
There you go.
I did like that. So I liked the scene where he was talking to Ben Affleck, not on the motorcycle when he was talking to him, the brief conversation they had in his suit. And then I liked, obviously seeing Michael Keaton.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the very last scene with George Clooney. I was like, I don't know. I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, no, it
It
was
was
cool.
a nice nod. It was
Yeah.
a nod. I chuckled. Like
Yeah,
I was like,
what?
yeah, I chuckled.
Yeah.
But again, all that
It was dope.
all that taken away by the second end credit scene, or I guess that was the first. I don't even know what. I think it was only the one, but obviously it's not going to stick, right?
Yeah.
We all knew we weren't going to get Clooney Batman coming
Right.
up for Gunn's universe. So.
Right. I just thought it was cool to.
Yeah, it was.
No,
did that
it was cool. Like, and I think the movie,
And him dropping the F-bomb on that, like the total shock and surprise. Again, played it well. He acted it well. I'm not going to take that away from him.
All right.
So anyway, y'all ready to wrap this up? This has been an experience.
What's the time? What's the clock on this thing?
Well, you remember because we said we had to stop it.
Yeah.
So right now we're at 1 hour 35 minutes, but that's not including.
It's going to be a long show, regardless.
It's gonna be a long show.
It's gonna be a long show.
And I was talking about trying to chop up shows and make segments anyway. So
Yeah.
I might have to do
You
that.
might have
with
to
this.
do with
I
this
might just
one.
have to do that.
Yeah.
So let's get to the last thing. I hope it works. Let's get to our wrap up screen that looks just like this screen.